The 1st Cavalry Division is one of the most storied and versatile units in the history of the United States Army. Originally activated on September 13, 1921, at Fort Bliss, Texas, it began as a traditional horse-mounted cavalry unit, patrolling the U.S. Mexico border and engaging in large-scale training exercises. However, as mechanized warfare became dominant in the 20th century, the division gradually transitioned away from horses, though it retained its cavalry identity. By World War II, the 1st Cavalry had been reorganized as dismounted infantry, and in 1943, it was sent to the Pacific Theater. There, it played a crucial role in campaigns such as the Admiralty Islands, Leyte, and the Battle of Luzon, ultimately earning the distinction of being the first American division to enter Tokyo after Japan's surrender in 1945, serving as part of the occupation forces. Only 5 years later, the division was called into action again when the Korean War broke out in 1950. It was among the first U.S. forces to arrive, taking part in the desperate defense of the Pusan perimeter and later in the offensive to liberate Seoul following General MacArthur's Incheon landing. However, the war soon took a brutal turn when Chinese forces entered the conflict, forcing the division into a grueling retreat from the Yalu River. Over the next 3 years, it endured some of the toughest battles of the war, holding strategic positions along the 38th parallel until the 1953 armistice. The division's most radical transformation came with the Vietnam War, when it was redesignated as the 1st Cavalry Division, Airmobile, in 1965. This marked a revolutionary shift in military tactics, as it became the first fully helicopter-equipped division in U.S. history, pioneering the use of air mobility in combat. Its first major engagement, the Battle of Ia Drang in 1965, demonstrated both the strengths and challenges of helicopter warfare. Throughout the war, the 1st Cav was involved in major operations, including fierce fighting during the Tet Offensive in 1968 and cross-border attacks during the Cambodian incursion in 1970. After years of intense combat, the division was withdrawn from Vietnam in 1972, but its impact on modern warfare remained profound. Following the war, the 1st Cavalry Division returned to Fort Hood, Texas, where it underwent significant modernization. During the Gulf War in 1991, it was deployed to the Middle East, playing a crucial role in Operation Desert Storm, engaging Iraqi forces and cutting off retreat routes. In the early 21st century, the division was once again at the forefront of American military operations, taking part in both the Iraq War, 2003 to 2011, and the War in Afghanistan, 2001 to 2021. It participated in the invasion of Iraq, engaged in intense urban combat in Baghdad, and later took part in counterinsurgency missions aimed at stabilizing both Iraq and Afghanistan. Today, the 1st Cavalry Division remains a highly mobile and mechanized force, headquartered at Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood, Texas. It continues to uphold its reputation for combat readiness, rapid deployment, and adaptability, integrating modern armored and aviation units while preserving its proud cavalry heritage. With a history spanning over a century and a presence in nearly every major U.S. conflict since World War II, the 1st Cavalry Division has cemented itself as one of the most decorated and battle-tested divisions in the history of the U.S. Army. Its motto, First Team, reflects its enduring legacy as an elite fighting force, always ready to answer the call of duty.